birthday.
Thank you. Thank you for your phone call yesterday.
Yeah, happy you're here. Happy birthday. How are you?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I like your outfit a lot better than your Hanukkah outfit.
Most people do.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hello. How are you?
Okay.
Okay.
How about you?
Okay.
It's kind of nice, actually. Yeah. Not as cold as I thought it would be.
Test, test. Test, 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 test. Good morning, good morning. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. And they were going to give me some, since we're going to college, we celebrated with some of them. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom. Are you cold? No, I'm feeling okay.
I'm all bundled up. How you doing? What nishma?
Okay, how are you?
Good.
Shalom.
Everything good?
Everything's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're doing a baby naming today
Oh,
in here.
yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. In here, yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be
You look
fun.
nice in your black and white.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I like to be able to sleep. Yeah, it was 58. So I have these heated seats in my car and air conditioning. Push the button down instead of squeezing. Cold. My butt's so cold, I realized I had the seats cooling instead of warm. Okay, we're going to talk about this crossing hands and Menashe and Ephraim, that kind of thing.
All right, we'll see where the time takes us.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't understand. I don't remember why. I don't remember why he switched.
He just does it.
Does it say?
He just does it. But don't forget, his whole heritage is the younger, the older.
Yeah.
So that's probably as easy as that. But there's really no explanation. It's just that. That's what he does.
Yeah, and Isaac did that with,
Everyone does that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did Abraham, oh, Yitro was his brother. Who was Abraham's brother? Or that was his brother-in-law, Yitro?
Whose brother?
Abraham?
Oh,
Did he have a brother? Told? Not told.
I was just telling Alanita the very terrible chilly day we had made reservations to go down to the Everglades. And we took an airboat.
Did you do it?
Yeah, we had paid quite a lot in advance. So it was absolutely freezing.
I bet.
It was raining, and it was kind of like hail, it was hailing. And of course, we were underdressed, even though we had jackets on.
Planned, but not for that, yeah.
And of course, alligators don't come out in the cold.
You just sit around and watch the,
Iguanas, yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
welcome,
Good morning,
welcome,
Shabbat
welcome,
shalom.
welcome, welcome.
I came on Christmas, I could thank you personally, because you had lent me. It was me that you had lent the
The prayer book, yeah.
So everything went well.
All right, good.
I did my bat mitzvah.
Nice.
And it was amazing.
Great.
You did amazing, Terry. Second thank you.
Of course. Thanks to you guys. Did you glasses? Did you different glasses than last time?
Yes, she has.
How'd you remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. I'm good at glasses.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Yeah, it looks nice. I like it. I like it. You look nice too. I was, but I think I am. I didn't plan on it when I, but I felt like Aubrey would be here.
She was supposed to, she texted me that she was wiped out.
Oh, okay. She didn't text me. It's fine. It's fine. We have a baby naming today, so it's gonna be fun.
I guess they'll come a little later.
What's that?
I guess they'll come a little later.
Yeah, I told them to come. I told them to come like around 9, just before we do the study.
Yeah.
So in between the end of the service and the study, we'll do the naming, and then if they have to go, they have to go. I don't know if they'll be able to keep
Yeah.
her around.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Oh, what a nice crowd. Nice to see you this nice Shabbat morning. Thank you very much. Yes. Yes, you guys get the challah. Excellent. Those of you who responded. Hey. It's Marsha's birthday today. So nice. It's Marsha's birthday. So happy birthday, Marsha. You came to celebrate with us. It's very nice of you. It's very nice of you. And everyone braved the Florida winter this morning. Everyone, yes. It's just the same, right? It's the same. The temperature in Montreal is exactly the same as it is right now, probably. Exactly, the wind and the snow and the rain. Yeah, and the difference in the temperature. Other than that, it's fine. It's exactly the same. Yeah. Yeah. No one's wearing boots, though, today? No. All right. It wasn't that cold. Because it is already 61. So it is already. Although when we woke up, it was 50-something. It was when I woke up. Well, what time did you wake up? What time was it when you woke up? I was 55 when I woke up, see? I woke up 5 minutes ago. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. So as you can see, it's just me today, so I don't know how much of a Shabbat Shalom you're going to have. But it's just me, so we're gonna sing together collectively. Somewhere in the middle of the service, hopefully the timing works out, we are going to be able to do a baby naming. So we're going to have a chance. I told the family to come a little bit later into the service. So the Tasher family will be joining us, and little Charlotte will be here. So it's going to be very, very exciting. Charlotte is a day away from 1 year old. So tomorrow would be her one year birthday. So she'll be 11 months and something. So she should be really, really cute. We should be able to identify her when she arrives. I have a feeling, her and whoever her entourage. So yes. So Mom Alana and Dad Jesse will be here, and then I don't know if they're going to bring some other family, but they're going to be here, and we're going to celebrate with them a little bit. We'll see how cooperative she is. There's a tradition. We'll see if we'll do it. That you put the baby on the Torah. Actually, if you've never seen it before, yeah. So we'll see how she does. Not every baby loves that, but we'll see. We'll see if the parents are up to it either. But sometimes you open the Torah scroll literally, and you put the baby onto the page of the Torah, and they get named. It's not risky. The parents are right there. They're holding her. We're not just going to leave her and walk away. It's not going to. It's not. No, it's fine. I've never had the problem before. So we'll now that I said that, so we'll move it quickly if we need to. So everyone here needs to be on their best behavior because she's coming. So some of you more than others. You know who you are. Just kidding. All right, if you're just joining us for the first time, or a second, or third, or fourth, 500th time, so happy that you're here. Your prayer book is under your seat, and I think they should all be Shabbat books. We haven't brought in any weekday festival books into here recently, so we should all have Shabbat on the cover. And we're gonna start with. I heard this. We'll start on page 170. And I heard this really cool drash about it's on Modeh Ani just recently. I have not heard it before. That it's actually structurally incorrect in Hebrew because it says Modeh Ani. Really, it should say Ani Modeh, right? Like I'm thankful. But it's Modeh Ani, and that's how the structure of the prayer works. It's interesting, it never occurred to me until this little drash that I heard from another rabbi in town actually, is that because it's the first thing we do when we wake up. Like traditionally, you're supposed to literally open your eyes, put your feet onto the ground, or even still be laying in bed and say Modeh Ani, thank you God for allowing me to wake up, for being here. And for my soul to be restored to me. And so this interesting grammatical part is that it's a good idea to not wake up and the first thing to think of is yourself. But to wake up first thing in the morning and to just be thankful. So that's why this cool drash is that the Modeh Ani is structurally, quote, wrong. But it makes sense for us that the first words out of my mouth are thank you, and not the first words out of my mouth are me, 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 me. We'll have time for me later. That's you, right? That's usually how we work. But it is an interesting drash on the Modeh Ani. So every time we say it, which we do almost every morning here together particularly, we can remember that really we're about being thankful first. And then going on from there. So that being said, we're on page 170. Modeh ani lefanecha, melech chai vekayam, shechezata binishmati bechemla. Rabba emunatecha, Rabba emunatecha. Matovu 172. Matovu halecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Israel. Matovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Israel. Va'ani berov chastecha avo veitecha eshtachaveh El heichal kodshecha beiratecha. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Israel. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Israel. We continue with our Nisim B'chol Yom, our daily blessings and miracles, 175. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan l'sachvi vina להבחין בין יום ובין לילה, אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם פוקח עברים. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם מתיר אסורים. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם זוקף כפופים. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם רוקה הארץ על המים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם המכין מצעדי גבר. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם מלביש ערומים. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם הנותן ליעף כוח. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם המעביר שינה מעיני ותנומה מעפעפיי. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשני בצלם אלוהים. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשני בן חורין. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשני ישראל. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם עוזר ישראל בגבורה. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם עוטר ישראל בתפארה. Amen. We continue Psukei de Zimra on page 183. Baruch shama v'ya'olam, Baruch hu, Baruch choseh v'reshit, Baruch omeh ve'oseh, Baruch gozer umkayem, Baruch merachem al haaretz, Baruch merachem al habriot, Baruch meshalem sachar tov l're'av, Baruch chalad v'kayam lanetzach, Baruch podeh matzil, Baruch shemo. Blessed is the one who spoke when the world came to be. Blessed is the one who continually authors creation. Blessed is the one whose word is deed. Blessed is the one who decrees and fulfills. Blessed is the one who is compassionate towards the world. Blessed is the one who is compassionate towards all creatures. Blessed is the one who rewards the reverent. Blessed is the one who exists for all time, ever enduring. Blessed is the one who redeems and saves. Blessed is God's name. With songs of praise we extol you and proclaim your sovereignty, for you are the source of life in the universe. O God, the life of the universe, praised and glorious ruler, your name is eternal. Baruch atah Adonai, melech mehulal batishbachot. We continue on page 192. 192. Shochen ad marom vekadosh shemo vechatuv ranenu tzadikim laDonai bAdonai vesharim nava tehila befi sharim tithalal v'direi tzadikim titparach ובלישון חסידים תתרומם, ובקרב קדושים תתקדש, ובמחללות רבבות עמך בית ישראל, ברינה יתפאר שמך מלכנו בכל דור ודור. ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו, האל המלך הגדול והקדוש בשמיים ובארץ. ברוך אתה אדוני, אל המלך גדול בתשבחות, אל ההודעות, אדון הנפלאות, הבוחר בשירי זמרה, מלך חלקי העולמים. 194. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחיי חונב ומיכון ובחיי בית ישראל, בעגלה וזמן קריב אמרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה, ברכו לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. We stand for the Baruch Hu on 195. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך, המבורך לעולם ועד, המבורך, המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, יוצר אור ובורא חושך, עושה שלום ובורא את הכל. Please be seated. Let's continue with Ahava Rabbah on page 198. Ahava Rabbah Havtanu Adonai Eloheinu Chemela Gdola V'Terach Hamalta Aleinu Ba'avur Avotenu ואימותינו שבטחו בך ולמדנו חוקי חיים והארננו בתורתך ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך ויחד לבבנו לאהבה וליראה את שמך ולא נבוש ולא נקלם ולא ניכשל לעולם ועד, כי בשם קודשך הגדול והנורא בטחנו, נגילה ונשמחה, נגילה ונשמחה בישועתך. ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה. שמע 200. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך וכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. 202. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו הציצית הכנף תחיל תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית וריתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Our Song of Redemption, Mi Chamocha, page 204. You're in the right place. Hi. You're here for the naming? Yes, good. We're in the middle of, we'll do our service a little bit, and then we'll pause, and we'll do the naming. So you are in the right place. Welcome. We are thrilled to have you. Come, sit. The prayer book is underneath your seat. You're welcome to join us if you want, where we are, and we'll do the naming, and we'll all celebrate together. But it's great to have you. Welcome. Shabbat Shalom. We're on page 204. One more time. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. שירה חדשה שיבחו גאולים, לשמך אספת הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. צור ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, עובדי חינומך יהודה וישראל. גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני, גל ישראל. Amidah begins 205. אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. 206. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לפני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל הצרב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים וחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו, לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. קדושה 208. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ, כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו, מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור. הללויה, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לא ימוש לעולם ועד. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. We take time now for our own silent prayers, thoughts, meditations, beginning here on page page 210 through page 219. 210 through 219. When you're finished, please be seated. You guys should cry, and you can weep too. We continue on page 216. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל ישראל עמך, בכנו יוצרנו כולנו כאחד, באור פניך, כי באור פניך נתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל ישראל עמך, תורת חיים ואהבת חסד ואהבת חסד וצדקה וברכה ורחמים וחיים ושלום. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל ישראל עמך, וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים ורחמים עלינו על כל ישראל ועל כל ישראל עמך. So we're going to do a baby naming shortly. Very exciting, yay. So we're going to launch into our Torah service so that we will be in the Torah service, which is the perfect time to do a baby naming, which is going to be great and wonderful. And Charlotte already was here and announced her presence, which was awesome. And so we're going to continue on page 244 as we start the Torah service, 244. אין כמוך ואלוהים אדוני ואין כמעשיך, מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו ושלום. Please stand. אב הרחמים, היטיב ברצונך את ציון. תבנה חומות ירושלים, תבנה חומות ירושלים. כי בך לבד בטחנו, מלך אל רם ונישא, אדון עולמים. 246. כי מציון תצא תורה, כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים. 248. ברוך שנתן תורה, תורה, ברוך שנתן תורה, תורה, לעמו ישראל בקדושתו. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. אחד אלוהינו, גדול אדוננו, אדוש שמו. גדלו לאדוני איתי, ונרוממה שמו יחדיו. לך אדוני הגדולה והגבורה והתפארת והנצח וההוד, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ בארץ ככל בשמיים ובארץ. לך אדוני הממלכה והמנשא לכל ראש. השלושה דברים, שבת שלום, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. השלושה דברים, שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. Please be seated. Okay. Now that we are in our Torah service, it's a good time for us to do a baby naming. Yay! Yay! We'll need Charlotte at this point. We need Alana too, and Jesse, obviously. Come up here. Who can guess which one's Charlotte? Oh. It's all good. Hi, Charlotte. Hi, Charlotte. Hi, Charlotte. Hi. Here. Look at this. Look at that, Charlotte. See that? Look, that's for you. Look at that. See that? Look at that's for you. That's for you. You can touch it. That's good. Yay. Okay. So sometimes, I mentioned this prior to arrival, sometimes we can do a naming, the actual naming part, which will be in a minute, on the actual Torah scroll. Do you think she'll be up for that? All right. We'll try it. We'll try it. All right. So every time we get to do a naming, first of all, it's super exciting, and we are super excited. And the first thing that we do when we do a baby naming is, should we do Shechenu at the end, actually? So, but the first thing that we do is we actually bring in the name of Elijah, because the idea is that, Elijah, when Elijah shows up, the idea is that there'll be peace in the world. And so every time we have baby naming, we think that it's this person right here who might help to bring peace into the world. So we might think that maybe she'll help and we'll all help and everyone in the room will help. And when we all help, Elijah will show up too, and together we will bring peace in the world, because we know that we need peace in the world pretty badly. So it is always nice to invoke the name of Elijah. This will call this imaginary chair of Elijah. This is the chair of Elijah, whose spirit is with us. May his remembrance be for good, bearing the promise of God's redemption. Brucha haba'a b'shem Adonai. Blessed is she who comes here in God's name. God remembers the covenant forever. The word commended to 1,000 generations. We praise you, O God, who establishes the covenant. I didn't tell you there's a part you have to read, did I? Oh, I did. All right, good. Okay. All right, good. So you can either the Hebrews here, if you want, or the transliteration is here.
Okay.
All right.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lechachnisa bivrit am Yisrael.
Amen. Amen. And there's the English.
We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot and commands us to bring our daughter into the covenant of our people Israel.
All right. You want to try it? Let's try it. Let's go up. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. let's see. Put this here. Just see if it works. All right. Let's see. So you come to this side. We'll switch places. I'm going to hold this. Let's put her right here, if she'll sit right there. If she doesn't want to, she doesn't have to. Sometimes it,
Paper, she might.
oh, okay. Sometimes it doesn't work. Let's see what happens. We'll try.
That's going to be right here. On the Torah?
Right on the Torah.
Ooh, look at
There we go. Look at that. I'm going to do it fast. הזאת לאביה ולאמה ויקרא שמה בישראל. בלימה, חיה, בת, צבי וחנה אהרונה. ישמח האבא יוצאת חלצה ותגל עמה בפית מזה, זאת הקטנה הגדולה תהיה כשם נכנסה לברית תיכנס לתורה ולחומה ומעשים טובים ונאמר אמן. We did it! All right. By the way, that is not the fastest I've done it before. Really? Usually. So sometimes they're faster. Sometimes it takes faster than that. So God and God of our ancestors, sustain this child through her parents' loving care. Let her be known among the people Israel by the name Blima Chaya Bat Tzvi Vechana Aarona. May her name be a source of joy to her and inspire her to serve our people and all humankind. May her parents rejoice in her body in the growth of her body and soul as they have brought her into the covenant. So they may with wisdom and patience lead her to the study of Torah, to a life of good deeds, and one day to a marriage worthy of God's blessing. As together we say, Amen. One more thing. Mishaberach Avotenu Yitzchak v'Yaakov. Wow. Ooh. All right. רבקה החל ודאי הוא ברך את הילדה הרכה הזאת ויזכו אביה ואמה לגדלה ולחנכה ולחכמה ויהיו ידיה וליבה לאל אמונה ונאמר amen. May God who bless our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Becca, Rachel, and Leah, bless this beautiful, amazing child. May her father and mother have the privilege of raising her, educating her, and encouraging her to attain wisdom. May her hands and her heart be faithful in serving God. As together we say, Amen. And now a little bit of an explanation, right, of the name and the choice. And let me turn on this microphone for you. So come stand right here by this mic, and then people will hear you.
Testing. One,
There you go.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Okay. So Alana and I prepared a little note just to our daughter, how special she is to us. And I'm going to read it on behalf of us. So, dear Charlotte, on January 8th, 2022, you came into our lives and changed us forever. Your mother and I love each other very much, but we never felt the love that we do for you. Your smile is electric, your giggle is intoxicating, and your personality is definitely a combo of me and Mommy. Sweet and playful, but tough, and you know what you want. Mom and I always like to say that you're the best of both of us. We chose your Hebrew name, Blima Chaya, because of the beautiful significance. Blima was your great-grandma Blanche's Hebrew name, which means blossom. Grandma Blanche was a sweet woman who enjoyed the little things in life. Her family was her world, and she definitely would have quelled over you. Chaya means life, and this was your great-grandma Helene's Hebrew name. Grandma Helene was a vision, beautiful, fashionable, and would have loved to take you to the flea market. This namesake is a combination of Mama's grandma and Dada's grandma, and means so much to our families. May you always shine bright like you always do and continue to blossom through life, spreading joy wherever you go. You are a true gift to our family. We love you very much. Love, Mommy and Daddy.
Mazel tov.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
So one more thing. Well, two more things. Here, I want to make sure that she's got this going on here. Let's see what we got here.
Oh, thank you.
Sure, there you go.
Yeah.
I remember picking those up everywhere. Everywhere. Hello. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Want to come back to Dada? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Go
Okay.
back.
Okay. By the way, that crying face is what most people do when they look at me, so it's perfectly fine. It's very nice. I'm working on it with my own family right now. So, yeah. That's the same reaction everyone has. It's fine. Yeah. Yes. I'm going to do this quickly as well.
Okay.
All right. So there are many moments throughout our life that we get to have this special blessing. bestowed upon us. We get to do it every Shabbat sometimes for our children, but on significant moments, we do it at baby namings, we do it at the bat mitzvah, so God willing at the bat mitzvah, whether it be on this bima, on the bima next door for the bat mitzvah, and then under the chuppah we say it too, and so on any special moment. So, may God bless you and protect you. May God's presence shine upon and be gracious to you. May God's presence be with you all the days of your life and grant you peace. As together we say, Amen. Now we say Shechianu. Thank you, God, for bringing us this very special moment. If you know Shechianu, say it with me. If you don't, say Amen at the end. It's the same exact thing. Here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shechianu v'kiyimanu v'giyanu lazman hazeh. Simen tova, mazel tova, mazel tova, simen tov, simen tova, mazel tova, mazel tova, simen tov, simen tova, mazel tova, mazel tova, simen tov, yehelanu. Simen tova, mazel tova, mazel tova, simen tov, simen tova, mazel tova, mazel tova, simen tov, simen tova, mazel tova, mazel tova, simen tov, yehelanu. Mazel tov. You are officially MOT. You know MOT? Member of the tribe. Yes. Yeah. All right. MOT. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well done, parents. That was very well done. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
That was nice. Here's the official sticker for you. There you go. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Mazel tov.
See you next Friday night.
Woo! Honestly, not the fastest one. Sometimes they're faster. Thank you. You are welcome to stay or go as part of the family. You're welcome to hang out if you want. We're going to do our service and do a little Torah study if you want to stay. It's totally up to you. So, yes. And Charlotte's welcome to stay also if she wanted to and study a little Torah if she wanted with us. But since the Torah is already out and open, we'll read Torah first, and then we'll go back and do our study. So we're on Vayechi, which is 47:28 in your Tanakh. Genesis 47:28. 47:28. Chapter 47, verse 28. Chapter 47. Huh? It's just how the Masoretes chopped up the sections. It's just the Masoretes are the ones in the temple period who changed it up, and that's how the sections worked. That's why the portions are named the way they are, the way the sections the way they are. That's why the trope is the way it is. It's all because of them. So, yeah. Not only that, but in the Torah scroll itself, it's a good rabbi quiz because oftentimes Torah portions at least start very clearly at paragraph beginnings or ends. This one starts right in the middle of a large section. So you actually have to know exactly where it starts because it's not near a section. Luckily, it's near the beginning of a section, but it's in a big blob of the regular Torah. So,
what does it mean, Maz, at the beginning?
Was that?
What does Maz mean?
Maz? Yeah. 47. Oh, it's 47. Oh. It's 40. That's the it's 47. Or yeah. It's actually yeah. Marcia, do you want to be the you want to do the Aliyah? It's your birthday. All right. Great. I don't know. It's your birthday today. So blessing again on 250. Blessing is on 250 if you want in the Siddur. And Torah is on 4728. Where is the thing? It's up already. Okay. There it is. Go ahead. Oh, what's your Hebrew name? Remind me. Malka bat David Mindel. Okay. Ta'amod. Tell me again. Oh my God, I forgot.
That was quick.
I know. Ta'amod Malka bat David Mindel. La'aliyat Torah. I got it. I remember this time. Malka. See? Yes, right there. Baruch
Adonai Baruch.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'rabbanan mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torto. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Amen. Vayechi Yaakov be'eretz Mitzrayim 17 shana. וימי יעקב שני חייו 7 שנים ו400 שנה ויקרבו ימי ישראל למות ויקרא לבנו ליוסף ויאמר לו אם נא מצאתי חן בעיניך סימנה ידך תחת דרכי ועשית עמדי חסד אמת אל נא תקברני במצרים ושכבתי עם אבותי ונשאתי ממצרים וקרבני וקברתם ויאמר אנוכי אעשה כדבריך ויאמר וישבע לי וישבע לו וישתחוו ישראל על ראש המיטה.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם ואתה ברכתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Amen. Yesher koach. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you
Yesher
so
koach. Yesher koach. Shkoch, shkoch. So since we read the Torah, we can also, we'll raise and dress it, and it'll be ready to go, and then we can go into Torah study. So, Anelia, I know you just sat down, but I don't know if you want to raise the Torah or someone else wants the honor of doing Hagbah or Glila. Anyone want to raise Torah? Raise or dress Torah? Anyone? Yeah? Come on up. Who wants to dress? Anyone want to dress? All right, Susie, come on up. So we're on page 252, and together we stand. No, here, going this way, sorry. וזאת התורה שעשה משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. תורה, 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 ציווה לנו משה. תורה, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Super tight. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. You can leave that there, it's okay. Thank you very much. Yesher koach. Yesher koach to both of you. Thank you very much. Yesher koach. Please be seated. Okay. That was fun. Baby naming, we got some Torah. Let me turn this on. Great, that turned off. Super. There we go. Let me put this on. Start. Okay. We'll let Gail in. All right. You remember that we talked about how possibly I'd bring some different books for us to look at, and so I brought gifts. So this will be our class set, and so every week, pay no attention to the man behind the. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Ha ha. Wanted to see if anyone got the Oz reference. All right, so there are 4 different books, and so they'll live here in the chapel, but we can disperse them. So I'll explain the 4 different books. So one is called the Koran Tanakh. It's a little more on the traditional end, but has very good and interesting translation. So that's the Koran. This is familiar to many people. This is the Women's Torah Commentary. So this is another option. That's 2. This is the Etz Chaim, which is the conservative movement plout. It's a plout equivalent to the conservative movement. And then there's the most interesting, in my opinion, and out there, and that's Everett Fox. And he's a little bit of a pretty cool out there. So, and I figured we'd alternate. On some Shabbatot, someone could take a different one, and then the next week someone else picks a different one, and then we have 4 of them, and we also have our own translation. So does anyone want to try one of them, or has a preference which one they get? Do you care? You want the ooh? All right, great. It is your birthday, so you get ooh. You get Fox. So you get Etz Chaim. You have Sansino. Okay, so. Hertz is the previous conservative movement one. Etz Chaim is the new one, but it's the same, yeah. And Women's Torah Commentary, and who wants a little more of the traditional? Anyone want to look at the traditional translation a little bit? You want to? Anyone? No? All right, great. No one has to, but great. This also means you have to find the spot though by yourself, because I don't. So. Yes, just go to the end of Genesis. You could go all the way back if you want to and then go backwards. You could do any of those things. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, you know the routine. I'm sorry that you do. All right. Okay. So I have the one I always have, which is the Jewish Publication Society, or the JPS. I always have that one. That's the one I always have. It's my favorite. It's well loved. It's a little ripped and torn, and I got to find the spot myself. Let's see. All right, so let's do our blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. We are at the end of Genesis. This is it. This is the last Torah portion in the first book of the Torah. It is also the conclusion of the discussion and the conversation and the interaction, if you will, of Joseph and his brothers. So Joseph and his brothers. All the people who have different books find their spots. I want to give you all plenty of time to find your spots. Everyone got their spot? Everyone's good? All right, good. Okay. So it is the end of the book, and it is, like I said, the end of the saga of the brothers, and it's kind of sad in the fact that all of the main characters that we really know and have grown to love obviously, all of them have to die in this portion, because next week is Exodus, right? So we're 400 years between this week and next week, 400 years will happen. So in a blink of an eye, between this Shabbat and next Shabbat, it'll be 400 years, and we'll start next week's Torah portion in Shemot, right? And so we will have not heard from Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, and all the brothers, obviously, and that's also how next week will start in this more complicated way, that the new king rises and doesn't know Joseph. So that's kind of where we're at in terms of our section. Okay, ready for good? Are we good with all of that? Are we good with all that setup? You get to have the mic the whole time because there's no one else. Further? No, hold on. See if I can do this. How's that? Does it give it any give? Any more give?
Okay, just.
It's hanging on the chair.
It's hanging on all the chairs. Let's see if I can. Hold on.
Fine.
Better? Worse?
Yeah, that works.
All right. I don't know. We have 700 different sizes of cords. This is the one that's in here today. So that's good. That's the good one. Let's see. Someone else is coming into the room. Great. All right. Okay, we are at verse 28.
Jacob lived in the land of Egypt for 17 years. Jacob's days, the years of his life, were 147. When Israel's time to die drew near, he summoned his son Joseph and said to him, "If I have but found favor in your sight, please put your hand under my thigh and treat me with faithful kindness. Please do not bury me in Egypt. When I am laid to rest with my ancestors, carry me out of Egypt and bury me in their burial place." He replied, "I will do as you say." He said, "Swear it to me." So Joseph swore to him. Israel then bowed down at the head of the bed.
Okay, so what do we have? What's happening so far?
Jacob's made a request and Joseph's sworn to do it.
Right. Okay. Right. So, how long has Jacob lived in Egypt?
If you can trust that.
Well, I mean, it says so in here, but right. Well,
It also says he lived to be 147.
correct. So, both of those sound totally right, don't they? Oh, I'm just kidding. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. So, okay. So, but he spent 17 years in the land of Egypt, and then it gives us his lifespan, which, right, what's the irony? Because the Torah portion is called what? Right, which means, and he lived. So the irony, of course, similar to like Chaye Sarah, right, is that it talks that the words are that she lived, and then the irony is that here we find out that he's going to die, right? So, yes.
Why they interchange the name Jacob and Israel? I know that Jacob, why did they?
Yes. So why do they keep so the answer is I don't know. That's the overarching answer that I don't know. The guesses are always that it's purposeful, that Yaakov is always going to represent him personally, and Israel is going to represent perhaps more of the nation, and like the people and the future, but not always. So that's also not the case, because we are B'nai Israel, and also automatically B'nai Yaakov. Like we're automatically both, right? We have to be. So we are the children of Israel. We are also automatically the children of Jacob. We have to be. There's no option. So, right? So I have started to call this congregation B'nai Jacob. I've been calling it that for a while now. I'm just kidding. Yeah, but because it'd be the same, because it's B'nai Israel, right? So it's interchangeable, and it's an interesting. So it's almost as if when Joseph wrestles with when Jacob wrestles with the angel it's almost as if he grows up also, right? He sheds his Jacobness and grows into what will be a nation, hypothetically. But again, that's not consistent. So I like that drash for myself. I mean, it works a lot of the time, but not all of the time, which is a problem. But yes. All right. So he says to him, when my time comes to die, he says, right? His time is coming. His time is coming to die, and it says he summoned his son Joseph. Now, what's interesting in the Hebrew is that it says it summons his son, and then there's kind of a space there, and then it says Joseph. So, just to clarify, because how many sons does Jacob have? Right. So, just to be clear, he's really only talking to Joseph in this moment. He's not talking to any of the other sons, which is adding to the complexity of the entire situation to begin with, right? Just in general. So, anyone have a different fun translation that's interesting for you? Yeah, go ahead.
No, it just says, Rashi says that Joseph was alone had the power to carry out Jacob's wishes.
What's that?
That Joseph alone had the power to carry out Jacob's
True, but it doesn't say he's talking to everyone. It's not like, hey, everyone, listen to this. When I die, I want you to do this. And also, by the way, Joseph, you're the one who has to do it, obviously, because why can Joseph do it? Because he's the viceroy of Egypt. He can do whatever he wants, right? He can command whatever command he wants whenever he wants to command it, because he's Joseph. Okay, so then there's the whole swearing piece, and then the sort of the promise, and then the swear, and it's at the foot of the bed. So we're going to end our discussion at this spot, but not now. We're going to continue our discussion, but we're going to come back to the spot, and we're going to end our conversation here, if that makes sense. We're going to plow forward, but I'm going to circle back to here for us to end our conversation. Okay, so now we're starting chapter 48. How's that going? Sorry to put you in that position.
After these things, they said to Joseph, "Look, your father is fading." So he took his 2 sons with him, Ephraim and Manasseh. When they told Jacob, saying, "Look, your son Joseph has come," Israel rallied and sat up in the bed. Jacob said to Joseph, "El Shaddai appeared to me in Luz in the land of Canaan and blessed me, saying to me, 'Behold, I will make you fruitful and multiply you. I will make you a multitude of peoples, and I will give this land to your seed after you as an everlasting possession.' Now then, your 2 sons born to you in the land of Egypt, before my arrival in Egypt, they are mine. Ephraim and Manasseh will be to me like Reuben and Simeon."
Okay, so what's going on here? There's a whole bunch of stuff, by the way, that's going on here. So it says sometime afterward, which, by the way, I love when the Torah does that, because like after these things, I love that, because it's just great. Yeah, it's nice and vague. Was it like a half an hour? Was it 5 years? Was it 10 years? Like, right? We're like, what? It's such a good, mysterious phrase. Okay, nice. That's also, by the way, the phrase that is very most popular from the Akedah, because that's how the Akedah starts. Just before God commands Abraham to sacrifice Isaac, the phrase says, after these things, and then it launches into the, so usually when this phrase is here, something kind of intriguing is coming. It's kind of a cool literary biblical device, usually. All right, so afterwards, well,
Who's they?
yes, who's they? Where does it say they?
After these things, they said to Joseph, "Look, your father is failing."
Oh, okay. So who else has different? Does someone have a different translation? Yeah.
The one, it says, the one said to Joseph.
Okay. Great.
And also here, the names, the song, put differently, first Manasseh and then Ephraim.
Yes.
And in this book, Ephraim and then Manasseh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. In your book, it puts who first?
We put
and then Ephraim. But everyone else does too. Doesn't yours say?
No,
Yours says Ephraim and Menashe?
yes.
Wow. All right, that's interesting. Okay. The Plout says what? Ephraim and then Menashe?
Right.
Mine also says Menashe and then Ephraim.
In verse 5,
And that, I mean, the Hebrew says Menashe and then Ephraim. The Hebrew says Menashe first. What does Fox say? What does Fox say? He says Menashe and then Ephraim. Okay, great, interesting. And that says Menashe and Ephraim too? Yeah, except for Plout. Right, in 5 it'll switch it. Yeah, in 5 it'll switch it because of what's coming next. But yeah, but it's interesting that right from the core of the text, it's switching it. Plout switches it.
Plow in both, in
Verse 1?
verse 1 and 5 is Ephraim first.
Yeah, 5 is Ephraim and then Menashe. Yes, 5 is Ephraim and Menashe in the text too. Yeah, so the verse 5 is, quote, correct. Verse 1 is fascinating that yours has a different, I think Plout is already alluding to what's going to happen with the blessing.
That's not a good translation, it shouldn't do that.
Well, you should call Plout up and let him know. Yeah, exactly. So, what's that? Well, that's why they're different translations, because it's kind of a cool dialogue when they're switching. But in this point, I agree with you. It should be this way, but it's interesting. Yeah.
If we're on 5, this one says Ephraim first.
That one says Ephraim first. Yeah, they all on 5. Everyone will say Ephraim first, because but by then where it's alluding to the switch that's about to happen. But the birth order should be correct in verse 1, really everywhere. But it's interesting that Plout doesn't do that. Oh, look at that! Huh, never knew that. Fascinating. That's cool. All right. So sometimes after this, so my translation says sometime afterward, Joseph was told. Joseph was told. That's what my translation says. Who? You're saying who? Who's who? Who's they? Who's them? My guess is that because he is in the care of the best possible medical or whatever we called them then in Egypt, it's them. You know, the seers, the doctors, the whatever they were, because he was in the best care humanly possible, right? Because he was the viceroy of Egypt's father. So my guess is the medical personnel, came to Joseph and said, "Your father's failing," probably. That's my guess. Yeah. Oh, you have a hurts, yeah. That one. Yeah, which is also interesting because the Hebrew doesn't say that, but yours says that one too, right?
Rashi said that it was Ephraim who used to study with Jacob. That's weird. Where's that?
That it's Ephraim who says it?
Some say that it was Ephraim who used to study with Jacob.
Oh, it's possible.
Where does that come from?
That sounds like a very traditional look into it, but yes. Okay. So, the Hebrew says, "Vahi achrei hadvarim ha'ele," these things, "Vayomer leYosef," and was said to him. It was said to him, essentially. That your father is ill, right? And then when Jacob was told, your son Joseph has come to see you, Israel summoned his strength and sat up in bed. Okay? And then Jacob said to Joseph, El Shaddai, which is God, right? Which not only is God, but not only the feminine side, right? Because what's a shed in Hebrew? Good, we're all in adults, and now there are no children here, or not that Charlotte would have understood English, but what's a shed? A breast. So El Shaddai actually means my breasts. which is another name for God because it makes sense. Because right, that's the place of nurturing. Right, that's the place of comfort. That's the first place that a baby goes. That's the place that we all sort of come from. So it makes sense. But that's literally, and why is El Shaddai also very popular? That everyone knows. Everyone knows. I promise you know too. Yes, the mezuzah. The shin on your mezuzah, on every mezuzah, is from Shaddai. So that's of all the names of God to be on your doorpost. It's not Elohim. It's not Yud He Vav He. It's not Eloheinu. It's that. It's Shaddai is the name that's on the doorposts of all the houses. And again, that makes sense because it's your home. So when you think of the home and you think of comfort and growth and warmth and development and all those things that happen in your home, that makes sense that the sort of the El Shaddai, the breast concept is that place of warmth and nurturing and right. So yeah.
Does this language appear anywhere else in the Torah?
El Shaddai? Yeah. It's not the only occurrence. Yeah. So, but it's interesting that, of course, in this comforting moment for Jacob, this is the term for God that's used as opposed to any other label of God. It's fascinating. That's also a million conversations we could have. Why the name of God is chosen in different parts of all of Jewish text. There's a reason for it, right? I don't know all the reasons, but there's a reason why Yud He Vav He shows up on certain times, why Elohim shows up certain times, why Yud shows up certain times, why right? So all those things show up at certain times, clearly for certain reasons. Yeah.
In the Torah, how many different names of God are there? I've been learning the Anabakoa, and it says it's based on the 42 names of God in Kabbalah.
Right.
So how many would be in the Torah?
So I believe in total there are 72 in total of Judaism. That's not just Torah. So that's if you take everything, it's 72 names in total. But Anabakoch is the 42. How many are in Torah? That is, I don't know the answer. I wish I could give you a more like midrashic, thoughtful, rabbinic response. My guess would be Rabbi Google would know that probably better than anyone else would. So and sometimes he or she, Rabbi Google, very helpful. But I would probably say Rabbi Google knows that more than I do. But that's a great question. Yeah. Yes.
I think it's really so important that God Shaddai is the one that's mentioned here.
Yeah. Because it's the comfort, right? I think it's also nice. It's comfortable for us. It's comfortable for Jacob. It's comfortable for Joseph. It's comfortable for us. This is a not that happy of a Torah portion. I mean, it's pretty sad, like to know that everyone's really going to die. So the comfort that's the comfort and the guardianship. Because if you think of the shin on your doorpost, not only is it comforting and warm and nice, which is this is the book that I'm never going to write, right? This is the lintel of the doorway, right? Why is the mezuzah on the doorpost, right? Why not is it inside the house? Or why isn't it outside the house? It's on the doorpost of your house, right? And so it plays off of that Shaddai concept, because I always think that when you go in, it's the El Shaddai that's comforting. When you're outside, you need the El Shaddai that's going to be guardian, right? And sort of a protector, because but both in the same spot, right? That's why the brilliance of the text has us put the mezuzah on that entryway, pardon me, and not in or out, and not this way or this way, but this way, right? Going inward, right? There's a whole explanation between the rabbis who argue about this, right? Who goes in and out? Yes.
Albert was just reminding me that in many cases the Shaddai alludes to the strength.
Yes, for sure, absolutely, because there's a strength to it also. Again, the power, the guardianship, the strength, absolutely. Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. Which also is kind of motherly, right? Because I've never been a mother, but presumably, right? Mothers have these instincts where you're going to be comforting and warm, and then if someone even comes near you or messes with your kid, then the bear comes out, right? Because that's the whole thing about being a mother. It's the doorpost, right? Like I'm warm and comfortable and cozy, but if you mess with me or my family, watch out because the claws come out, right? So that's like, that's the like, I'll speak for my own mother, right? That's both, right? That she'll be comforting and cozy, and then if she messes with the family, then right? So that's the interesting part of why this is here. What's even more interesting, by the way, is it goes on to say that El Shaddai appeared at Luz. Why is Luz interesting? What happened at Luz last time? What happened at Luz? This is a tough quiz question. I will tell you. Luz is the ladder incident. So interesting that's what the reference is going back to the ladder. Why is it back to the ladder for Jacob? It's like that moment, right? Because he was running, you remember? And it was really the latter moment that really transitions his life because he realized God's presence and he realized what's going on. And then that following week he wrestles, right? And the wrestling that we switched from the Jacob and Israel. So all that really, that moment, that lose moment is a really critical moment for Jacob. So
Rabbi, can we say that this is El Shaddai is who Jacob wrestled with?
So it's also very possible, right? That El Shaddai, because right we find out later in that story, right, that it's some kind of a being, right, some kind of a godly being, some kind of an angelic being. So maybe it was that form of God that he was wrestling with. It's all very possible. And maybe that's why he feels the closest to that part of God for himself, which is also very possible. Absolutely. Yeah. And then this is all part of the blessing, and now we're on verse 5. So now the Hebrew was right. Did you read to verse 5? You read past here. Yeah.
I read 5.
You read 5, then we stopped. Right. Okay. So now your two sons who were born to you in the land of Egypt before I came to you in Egypt shall be mine. Ephraim and Manasseh shall be mine, no less than Reuben and Shimon. So what's Jacob saying? I'm adopting them. I'm adopting your children. So not only am I their grandfather, hypothetically, but now they're also going to be really my children, just like your brothers, right? So what do we think about that? Strange. It's a little strange. Yeah. It's a little strange. But we will soon find out that Ephraim and Manasseh are maybe the most significant and most important siblings in all of Jewish text. Probably. Ephraim and Manasseh. So this is a big deal, which is maybe some people say was a premonition of Jacob that he would sort of adopt them in preparation for the premonition that he has on the fact that they're going to be the most significant siblings. Yeah. It's possible, yeah. It's just maybe that's sort of also like the sort of long-standing comfort that can be created in the moment. That's nice, yeah.
They get a tribe. I mean, they get a portion of the land.
They do, indeed.
So
Each.
yeah. So because Joseph and Benjamin don't get it.
Joseph doesn't get one.
And Benjamin doesn't either.
Does Benjamin get one? In one iteration, I think he does, and then in one iteration, he doesn't. The tribes switch throughout text how the structure works, but definitely Ephraim and Manasseh get their own tribes for sure, and Joseph does not get one. That serves as the Joseph space serves as the Ephraim and Manasseh tribes. Yeah, for sure. Yes.
So if Jacob...
And Levi doesn't get one either because of the Levites.
So if Ephraim and Manasseh are also becoming Jacob's children.
Yes.
And if you want to use Jacob's other name, Israel, so it's sort of like saying that all the children in the line to come are children of Israel.
Correct. Nice. which is also why, no surprise, right? If you engage in this ritual or have done it or have heard about it, that on Friday nights after you light the candles, for the boys, you say, may you be like Ephraim and Menashe, right? And for the girls, you say Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, right? But why Ephraim? Why Ephraim and Menashe, and not Menashe and Ephraim? It's Ephraim and Menashe because of what's about to happen, and because what's so nice about the two of them is, we'll see this is going to happen. No surprise that the younger goes before the older, and neither argue, right? For the first time. Because every other instance has been the younger before the older, and that has caused only trouble for everyone all the way through our text, right? Which it literally is what brings us to the problem. Like, we're in Egypt because of it, right? The Israelites are in Egypt because of the fact that the siblings can't figure it out, right? So, okay, we're on 6.
But your progeny, whom you engender after them, are yours. They will be called by their brothers' names in their family allotment. And I, as I was coming from Padan, Rachel died in the land of Canaan on the road, only a stretch of ground before reaching Ephrath. I buried her there on the way to Ephrath, that is, Bethlehem.
All right, which is still the same spot, by the way. You can still go and visit, just really carefully. So I would go in an armored bus. But you can still go to Ephrath, and you can still see, it's true. And you can still see Rachel's tomb. By the way, in Hebron, not that far away, is where you can see Marat Machpelah, which is the cave of Machpelah, which is where Abraham is buried, right? Yet I think more visitors go to Rachel's tomb than they do to the cave of Machpelah. Also, if you've ever seen the red bracelets, you've seen the red bracelets? People put a red bracelet on you and say it's good luck to wear a little red string bracelet before, like a little tiny string bracelet. The theory is that it's placed on Rachel's tomb first, and then, because it takes and absorbs something from Rachel, and then is given to put onto you. And sometimes people use it to talk about maybe people who are struggling to get pregnant, use it for fertility purposes, or for health purposes, or for just to have a watchful eye over you. So if you go to Jerusalem, particularly in the Old City, traditionally, these older women are on the ground or on a stool, and they want to put a little bracelet on you, and of course they want money for the bracelet. What I like to do to torture them is ask them if it was really on the tomb of Rachel, and if it was, I'll buy one. If not, then I don't want one. I'm just kidding. I don't do that to them. So the only people I torture, by the way, in the Old City is if you're a male and you go to the western wall part. There's an Orthodox group that attacks you to put tefillin on you every time, and I shoo them away every time. And they're like, oh, why not? It's a mitzvah. And I was like, I don't need your mitzvah. I was like, well, why not? Everyone needs a mitzvot. And I like to argue with them. That's my favorite part of going to Israel, is arguing with those people. Okay. Sorry, that was a sidetrack that we didn't have to go down. All right, 8.
When Israel saw Joseph's sons, he asked, who are these? And Joseph said to his father, they are my sons, whom God has given me here. He, Jacob, said, bring them to me, pray, that I may bless them. Israel's eyes had grown clouded with age. He could no longer see. Joseph brought them over to him, whereupon he kissed and hugged them. Israel then said to Joseph, I never expected to see your face again, and here God has shown me your progeny as well. Joseph then removed them from his knees and bowed down before him to the ground. Then Joseph took the two of them, Ephraim with his right hand to Israel's left, and Manasseh with his left hand to Israel's right. And he brought them close to him. But Israel stretched out his right hand and placed it on Ephraim's head, even though he was the younger, and his left hand on Manasseh's head, crossing his arms, though Manasseh was the firstborn. He then blessed Joseph, saying, the God before whom walked my fathers Abraham and Isaac, the God who has shepherded me ever since I came into being until this day, the angel who has rescued me from all harm, bless these lads. Through them, let my name and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac ever be recalled, and let them greatly multiply within the land.
Okay, so what do we have? What went on just now?
The blessing.
Not okay. So that was a blessing. Nice, good.
But Joseph had put them in the right, the older
Yes. Okay, please tell me, the Torah does not waste ink. Why does the Torah put so much ink in this section with so much detail? And the cross, and the hand, and the thing, and the over. We got it. Like, I got it already at the beginning. Why do I need the extra thing, right? So Joseph took the Ephraim with the right hand and to the left hand. So I already know in 13. I already know what's happening in verse 13. It's there for me. It tells me. And then 14 just solidifies it. So between 13 and 14, I'm really done. Why do I need the whole thing now to go with the thing and the right and the left and the cross and the so much ink is used here. Why is there so much ink? It wasn't like a run-on sentence. People who wrote this weren't like, oh, let's add to it. Oh, why not? No one's going to notice. Why is there so much ink here?
They're emphasizing because they want people to know that this is exactly what happened.
Okay, yeah, there's clearly for emphasis. Clearly, there was no like bold type, right? Or underlining or italicizing, right?
But I think to show them that it wasn't an easy thing to do, the decision.
Okay. Oh, so maybe to show that maybe that that it wasn't an easy decision. That maybe it was maybe it was deliberate, right? But what's interesting about being deliberate is that what does 10 say? What does verse 10 say? So his eyes are dim. Whose eyes were also dim? Isaac. So look at this the connection and the whole thing, right? So Isaac couldn't see. So who got blessed? Jacob got blessed, right? And then we had the whole thing with Esau. So now it's interesting that Jacob's eyes are dim, and here he goes to bless the boys, and what he mistakenly blesses, quote, mistakenly blesses them in the wrong order. So he doesn't mistakenly, because I think he knows, just like I think Isaac knows what he's doing, by the way, I think Jacob knows what he's doing too, right? That Isaac's eyes were dim and he couldn't tell, and Rebecca did the whole thing with the fur on the thing. And I don't think she needed to, because I think Isaac knew what he was doing to begin with. Just in case Rebecca makes sure that it's set all the way back previously, several Torah portions ago, right? So the right and the left and the left and the right, and then this beautiful blessing. It's very nice. There's all this beautiful connection. And then we get to 17.
When Joseph saw that his father had placed his right hand on Ephraim's head, it seemed wrong to him. So he took hold of his father's hand to move it from Ephraim's head onto the head of Manasseh. Joseph said to his father, "Not that way, father. This is the firstborn. Put your right hand on his head." But his father refused, saying, "I know, my son, I know. He too shall become a people, and he too shall be great. Yet his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations." So he blessed them that day, saying, "By you shall the people of Israel give their blessing, saying, may God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh." And he put Ephraim ahead of Manasseh. Israel then said to Joseph, "I am dying now, but God will be with you and bring you back to the land of your ancestors. And I have given you, first among your brothers, the Shechem mountain ridge, which I won from the Amorites with my sword and my bow." Jacob then summoned his sons, saying, "Gather round, that I may tell you what shall befall to
Okay,
you."
great. Okay. Excellent. Perfect. Okay, so right as it's happening, right, Joseph steps in and says, no, you're about to make a huge mistake here. This is the older one, this is the younger one. Don't. And what does Jacob say? I know what I'm doing. I know I got this. Don't worry. I got it. Right? So does he got it? Does he know what he's doing? I guess, right?
How does he foresee that the younger brother will be greater?
He foresees. right? That's the beautiful part, right? Is that, yeah.
Is the younger brother greater because he was told he was going to be greater?
Ask me again?
Is it like a
Fulfilling prophecy? Yeah.
He was told he was going to be greater, and so he became greater.
Maybe. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
I mean,
I like that.
I think that'd be great.
It's the way you treat people is
Right.
what they become.
Sure. I mean, yeah, right? I think it's how teachers are too, right? You can elevate a student so easily by telling them something that you can do it. It's just a whole other world of difference, because when someone believes in you, right, or suggests that you're going to do something in you is like, well, then I can do it. Like, you think I can do it, so I can probably do it. So maybe it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Yes?
There's a famous story about a teacher who divided her children into blue-eyed and brown-eyed.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. What's that called? Tiger eye. I know that. Yeah, I read that too many times for my psych degree. I read that too many times. Yes, absolutely. So, yeah.
This midrash says that his descendant will be Joshua, who will lead Israel into the promised land and teach them the Torah.
Ephraim. Yeah, exactly. So that's also that's the significance of, if we fast forward through all of Exodus and all of Leviticus, and we go to Numbers, and you go to the story of the spies, right? And just before the spies leave, we get the spy name and their lineage, right? And so we get the spy name, and he's not Joshua yet. He's just Hoshea. He becomes Joshua because God puts the H in his name too. But he's Hoshea, and he's from the tribe of Manasseh. So all the way through, we have to go through. But now we sort of understand the premonition, right? How does he know? Right? How does Jacob know? He doesn't know, but right, like your question. But the proof text is there, because clearly it's Joshua of all people who is from the tribe of Manasseh, which is pretty amazing. And Ephraim is important too, but it's the Manasseh side that is the line to Joshua, which is pretty important because we need Joshua, right? So yeah, were you gonna say something? You just knew, like it's just you just know. Yeah. There's this. I never forget this. It never happened. Never happened at the camp that I work for. But I know that in camp trainings throughout my whole life, going to work at Jewish summer camp, they always talk about this one experiment that really happened at a Jewish summer camp. I remember it was a Jewish summer camp. I don't remember which camp it was. And the camp was regular, but there was like the oldest campers, which are usually separated at camp. They get like the most privilege, even though they're campers, but they get sweatshirts and they get hats and they get to feel like they're really cool. At this particular camp, they lived across a little bridge. That was like their cool thing. They had like their own section of camp. It was a walkable. You could see the bridge, but it was walkable. They all lived there. And apparently, the story was that this group of these little leaders, and there was like a leadership group, because you always said that the oldest kids on camp were supposed to be the future leaders of camp, were particularly bad, actually. They just weren't getting along. They weren't following along in the system. They weren't following along in the programming. They weren't stepping up and being, as we always talk about, how the older kids are role models to little kids, to new campers and all that stuff. It is this all camp culture stuff. And they were particularly awful. So much so that some of the staff were thinking that they should just change the program and just do away with what they were doing, and maybe they'll try again next summer. And then someone had an idea. And the idea was they would start to tell not the kids on the other side of camp, in the older kids across on the bridge, but all the other campers. They would start to tell the other campers how incredible the older campers were. That it was part of the dialogue that they had, and they tried to do it. You have no idea how, this is the best class that's ever happened, or whatever, they had a name. And they started for several weeks to tell them that they were the best. And the sociological experiment worked because those other kids came in the morning to have breakfast and lunch and dinner and hang out with the other campers. And they kept hearing from the other campers, boy, I wish when I get to do it, my group will be like your group. And they were like, what? And so there's this whole sociological paper on this, and it was simply because they said to them that they just told them that they were better, and they changed their whole attitude, and it ended up that the summer was, and there's like a pamphlet, there's like a little mini sociological, I think the Foundation for Jewish Camp has it written somewhere, that they actually changed the dynamic of camp, and they were horrible kids. No kids are horrible, but they were horribly behaved kids. The chemistry of the group just wasn't good, and it changed, and they changed it only because they figured that they would just share with them that they had the potential of being great. And maybe it goes into this premonition or how we talk to kids, and if you say to someone, you're going to be great, it's going to be fabulous, trust me, it's going to be great, it changes who we are. Is your hand up, Gail?
Yes, sorry. I just want to go back to 14. My Cloud 81 interpretation says, crossing his hands, a subtle wordplay as Hebrew, for the same word can also mean to act wisely, and the like-sounding sekel means to act foolishly. Later Torah law prohibited such preference of the younger son in Deuteronomy 21:15-17, where it says that man has two wives, one loved and the other unloved, and both the loved and his unloved have borne him sons, but the firstborn is the son of the unloved one. When he wills his property to his sons, he may not treat as firstborn the son of the loved one in disregard of the son of the unloved one who is older. Instead, he must accept the firstborn, the son of the unloved one, and allot to him a double portion of all his possessions, since he is the first fruit of his vigor, the birthright is due.
Yeah, where's that commentary from? Yeah, Where's that from? Gail, where's that from?
That is Cloud 1981 interpretation
okay.
of line 14.
Got it, okay, of line 14.
And takes you to Deuteronomy 15-17.
Nice.
Chapter 21.
Okay. Yeah, no, but it makes sense that the balance of Ephraim and Menashe finally comes to fruition, because it never really did. Because that the treatment just particularly of Jacob's children was based on who their mother was, right? So this is like the proof text to come back to say that he almost fulfills it, to say that I'm going to bless, and I'm knowingly going to bless the younger over the older, as opposed to the way that I was before, the way that I maybe made, right? Remember when he goes to fight Esau, he puts in front the children, Leah's, not just Leah's children from her maidservant are first, then Leah's children, then Rachel's maidservant children, then Rachel's children. So it's almost in that, so it kind of, the proof text that goes back to say, they almost kind of fixes it the best that he can in this moment. He tried to do a bunch of these fixes. Okay, yes, last comment, then we're going to go back and tie it together.
So I'm wondering if the culture in that period of time favored primogeniture, and the Israelites not doing that was the same way the sacrifice of Isaac was saying, you don't kill children.
Yeah.
Is this a way of rebelling?
So it's interesting. I actually don't think so. Only because to this day, in the more traditional household, the firstborn male is the king, still the king, over everyone else. It's known. Like, he literally can get away with anything he wants. There could be 17 daughters born, and then the son, and then 17 sons after that, and no one will be treated at the same level as the firstborn son. That he is like, it's actually called the Bechor, and the Bechor is the firstborn son, and he's like, oh. What's that? Yeah, exactly. So, yes.
I have the Kurtz.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted to point out that there was a blatant omission here in verse 22. In the Hebrew, it clearly says Shehem. Shehem. And in the text it's translated as Shehem Mountain Bridge. In this translation, Kurtz, it doesn't occur. You do not see the mountain range actually referred to in verse 22. It's translated as, moreover, I have given thee one portion above thy brethren, which I took out of the hand of the Amorite with my sword and my bow. It doesn't mention the mountain range. So it's interesting that this is very much accepted translation, and I think that's a pretty good omission.
Yeah, my translation doesn't have it either.
Our Torah mentioned,
Yes, mine doesn't have it either. What does Fox say? What does Fox say on verse 22? What does Fox say on verse 22? 48.
And I give you one portion over and above your brothers, which I took away from the Amorite with my sword, with my bow.
Okay, it's interesting. Okay, same. Okay, same. Yeah, mine says it too. And now I assign to you one portion. The Hebrew says Shechem. And my note in here says, meaning of Hebrew Shechem, uncertain. Others claim mountain slope. So that's what my commentary says. Yeah. So, but it says meaning of Hebrew Shechem, uncertain. Yeah. So, all right. Here's what's that? Yeah. This is why it's cool for us to have the different translations and how it functions, doesn't function. Yeah. Really last comment. Go ahead.
Just in the woman's verse.
Oh yeah, women's commentary. Yeah.
The verse says the mountain range.
Yeah.
But the note says a lot of people don't see it that way.
What does it say?
Many commentators understand it to mean one portion or the double portion assigned to the firstborn.
Yeah. Right. Okay. That makes sense. So yes.
This goes into a detailed description of the reference to Shem.
Yeah. Sure.
It says, it is likely, however, that Shechem here does not mean portion, but is connected with the city of Shechem, a place closely associated with Jacob and Joseph.
Yeah.
In that understanding, the passage refers to some tradition in the life of Jacob concerning his participation in a war against Shechem, which the Bible has not otherwise preserved. The book of Joshua contains no report of the conquest of that city, although Joshua delivered his farewell address and conducted a covenant ceremony there. It is likely, therefore, that there was a pre-Mosaic Israelite conquest of Shechem. Possibly the city was raised in such a conquest and remained largely in ruins until it was reoccupied by Joshua without fight.
Interesting. Okay. Now, Shechem also is, as you recall, was the name of a person who's also interestingly in this spot. Who was Shechem?
The man who was with Dinah.
The man who was with Dinah. Yes. Interesting that the word is here too.
It says that in the woman's
Yeah, it says in women's commentary. I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. But But yes. So right, and then right. So after they find out, not only after they find out, but then the brothers make an agreement with the town. You remember that? And they say, if you all convert, then no harm will come to you. And they agree. Remember that they agree, and men all circumcise themselves. And then while they're healing, they come in and kill them all. So yeah, so not good, not good, not good. So here's how I'm going to bring it home. This is my favorite part about this Torah portion. Is if you go back to the beginning. So if you go to the first part of the Torah portion, and we go from chapter 47, verse 28, all the way to the beginning of chapter 48. So that first section that we read this morning, it talks about Jacob, and then starting on verse 30, it says, "When I lie down with my fathers," right? So it's certainly setting up the fact that Jacob's going to die. And then we go to 31, and it says, "Swear to me." Then Israel bowed at the head of the bed, which means that he was failing, right? And then it goes on to say that we find out that he's ill, right? And then it says in verse 2, when Jacob was told, "Your son Joseph has come to see you," Israel summoned his strength and sat up in bed. So here is this cool drash. You ready? That I love. So if you think of the Shema for a second, right? Think of the Shema, and it says, "Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad." Now, in the Torah itself, it says, "Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad," ve'ahavta et, and it starts, "ve'ahavta et Adonai," right? So, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Olam Va'ed is not in the Torah. It's not there. If you look at the Torah scroll, it just says Shema, the Shema line, and then Va'ahavta. It goes right into that. So, here's the commentary. The commentary is that Jacob is dying. It says so in this moment. So the commentary hypothetically comes from this moment. He's dying. And in his deathbed, all the kids are around him. So he has 13 kids. We don't know about Ephraim and Manasseh becoming his kids yet, so we'll go with the 13 kids. So 13 kids are around him, right? The 12 sons and Dinah. Hypothetically, there's no mention of all of them. This is all a midrash. And they're all around the bed. And he's dying. And he thinks to himself, in my lifetime, all these generations, only half of the generation has followed in the footsteps of God. Right? He says, let's think back to my grandfather. Right? Who was? Abraham. Right? And what was the problem with Abraham? Well, no, who was his brother? Who was Abraham's brother? Great. So there were idols, right? So there were idols, and he had to figure out that he was the first Jew. So there's like this weird component that he had to sort of leave this concept of a pluralistic view of gods. Okay, then who does Abraham have? And Isaac. Okay, so in the two brothers, only one really goes the quote Jewish path, right? So now it's 50% don't go the Jewish path. Then he says to them, what about look at my generation. Who was my brother? Jacob says. Esau. He says, now Esau, 50% of my own generation has left. He looks at all 13 of them and says, there are 13 of you. If half of you are going to go in the wrong direction, this breaks my heart. How can I live with myself to think that so many of you will not be on the right path, right? Let alone that there was one in each generation that led to this moment. For us, one is terrible, but look how many there would be for half of you to not go in the right footsteps. And so they respond, all 13 children, Shema Yisrael, Dad, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. And then Jacob says in the Midrash, Baruch Shem Kevod, Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. which is, right, Baruch, what's Baruch Shem Kevod? What's like, blessed is your name, right? Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, your sovereignty forever and ever, right? So there's a midrash that says that's where the line comes from. The line comes from actually Jacob saying it himself after his children stand around him to say, Dad, Shema, Israel, Dad, we got this. All of us are one. All of us are going to continue in the, quote, correct path. And he says, thank God. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Olam Va'ed. And that's where the line comes from, hypothetically. So, in a whisper, right. So in the conservative movement, Reconstruction movement, and Orthodox movement, even if your Orthodox movement usually doesn't really do that much out loud, but traditionally you say, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Olam Va'ed. And you're whispering it because we don't elevate ourselves to Jacob. Only on one day we do it, which is on Yom Kippur. So on Yom Kippur, traditionally, you shout, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, because we all attempt to raise ourselves to the level of Jacob on that day, in that moment, to have the redemption for our own selves. So that's my favorite part of this Torah portion, because the visual is set beautifully, because they're all sort of sitting there. He's on the deathbed, and it works beautifully with also the fact that the name, I knew you asked a question about Israel and Jacob, and so the Israel part works beautifully here, because they say, listen, Israel, listen, Dad, we got it. We're all going in the right path. Yeah.
Okay, so I always thought, so I've been coming here for like 5 years all the time.
Yeah.
And this is like the coolest thing I've ever heard. And I'm the most thing that I can, like, sometimes you have all these different stories. And, I always thought the Shema is the most important prayer. And now I know where it's coming from. Because I was.
It's one of the commentaries, right? There are a lot of different commentaries.
What do you feel about it?
This is my favorite commentary. It's the one that I feel the closest to. The most common one is that it's the angels, because God comes up with the word Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, and the angels, which is why it's not in text, because the angels are saying Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Olam Va'ed. So that the angels, which also, by the way, works for Yom Kippur, in the same way that you whisper it the whole year, but on Yom Kippur you try to be like the angels in your behavior, so it also works in that same concept, which is why there's the whisper and then the loud version. So the more known is that the angels say Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Olam Va'ed after God says the word Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. But I like this one better.
I always thought, so like on Rosh Hashanah, you do the shofar. So I always thought, like, the Shema Yisrael Adonai Echad, you're like, screaming it throughout.
You are.
Israel,
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is taking an opposite view, like the children are saying it to Jacob. Don't worry, Jacob.
We got it. Yeah.
Kind of thing. So
That's still pretty cool, though, to think that we're saying the same words that the tribes were saying, right? That all the children of Jacob were saying. So
that's where it started, supposedly. Now we're like on the top of a mountain, like
exactly.
almost blowing the shofar.
Exactly. So yeah, it's a midrash, but it's my favorite midrash because it also clicks beautifully with the mystery of where that sentence comes from and the fact that they say Shema, Dad.
I think it's now my
Listen.
favorite too.
All right, good. Okay, good. All right, good. Okay, awesome. That was your beginning was so good. I've been coming here for 5 years, and this was the coolest thing I've. Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah.
Sometimes I don't understand all of it, but this is like straightforward.
It's straightforward. I can't take any credit for it. It's a commentary that I did not create. I've been saying it for years. Yes. Oh, that's only for focus, because because the Shema is thought to be like what's the term, the watchword of the Jewish people. It's like it's hypothetically the last thing we say, right? Though if we're actively dying, it's literally the last words that should come out of our mouth as the Shema. So some people really want to just cover their eyes and focus. I've said before, there's this great synagogue called Sinai in Los Angeles, And on Friday nights, they have something called Friday Night Live. And it's this brilliant, incredible service where hundreds of people come to the service. And it's like a 20-something service. And it's called Friday Night Live, and there's music, and then afterwards there's food and breakout groups, and all these 20 and 30-somethings go, and it's like a singles thing. So what's the joke at Sinai on Friday Night Live at the service with all the 20-somethings is when they get up to do the Shema, they go like this. Shema Yisrael. They're checking out, they're scoping out the room for who's the single people so that they can talk to them after the service. So it's very funny. So during the week, everyone's doing this. Everyone's doing this because they want to know, they want to check out the people who are around them. So that's the joke at Sinai, that everyone's doing that. Like, yeah, no, I don't think they're doing a shin at Sinai. I think they're doing ooh, she looks good. Yeah, I'm not going to talk to her after services, I think. Or, ooh, he looks nice. I'm going to go talk to him after services. I think that's what's happening at Sinai. Yeah.
So our takeaway for today, the first Shabbat of the new year,
Yes.
is that we had a baby naming.
Yes.
And Neil's aha moment reminds all of us that in this beautiful living document that we dedicate our lives to, there's always going to be a discovery.
Yeah. Nice. Thanks, Amy. Well done. Well done. So with our nice connections, we still have the Torah out. We'll think of those in our community who are in need of healing. The physical, emotional, or spiritual healing. If there's someone you're thinking of and you want to share their names, please share their name at this time. And we'll go to Gail first because you're the sole one on Zoom. So you go, Gail.
Mark Davis from Marcia Davis, Apu Katner, Stuart Furman, Lawrence May, Gerard family, Sandy Tankus, Ken Tankus, Gail Gibson, all those affected by the war in Ukraine, anti-Semitism, other hate crimes and violence.
Francie Craven.
Leslie Winter. Barry Weishaupt, Alvin Madison, Renee Schwartz, David Schwartz, and Linda and Ron DeVito. Jay Taylor.
Leah Bodrivka, Esther Bodrivka, Mayor Bodrivka, Harry Pierce, Judy Levine, Carmela Sarah Badov, Yosef Golda, Moshe, Sandy and Ken Tankus, Rivka Chaya, Aglaya, Ines.
משבח אבותינו ואמותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, חבל לאה, וברך את החולים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, מלא רחמים עליהם, לחמם, לפותם, להחזקם, וישלח להם מהרה רפואה שלמה מן השמיים, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף, השתה בגלה ובזמן קריב, ונאמר אמן. And the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Becca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. May the blessed Holy One be filled with compassion, for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit, as together we say, Amen. Just as we are about to put the Torah away, oh, thank you for collecting our extra books. Just to, I neglected to say, I think in the excitement of the baby naming, just before we put the Torah away, we're completing a book of Torah. So we should all say Chazak, Chazak, V'nid Chazek, strength, strength, and may we all be strengthened as we transition from this book of Torah to our next book of Torah next week. And we put the Torah away on the top of page 256, 256, and together we stand. Yahalelu et Shem Adonai, ki nizkav shemo levado. Odo al eretz v'shamayim, harem keren lea. Asidav li bnei Israel am kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Etz chaim hi למחזיקים בה, ותומכיה מאושר, דרכיה תחנועם, וכל נתיבותיה שלום. אשיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה, חדש חדש ימינו, חדש ימינו כקדם. Please be seated. Announcements. Let's see. We certainly have Mandy Patinkin coming up. That is the 26th of January. If you have not had a chance to watch his movies or listen to some of his singing, he's been in Vida on Broadway and in many movies and shows on TV. Please, and you haven't registered yet, there are tickets, but they're filling up very quickly. So if you've not already purchased your tickets to see Mandy Patinkin, come and hang out with him on the 26th. It's going to be really, really fabulous and wonderful. And I am going to nerd out with him and tell him how excited I am to, because my favorite movie of all time is Princess Bride, and he was in Princess Bride. So I'm going to, hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. I'm going to try and do the whole thing if I can, and he's going to hit me. Yes. This Sunday, tomorrow we have coffee and conversation tomorrow, actually. So you're welcome to join us if you did not know. I believe it's at 9 or 9:15. So join us. I forget where it is. I think if it's outside, it might be in the tent. If the weather's nice, if it's not, we might do it in Neurosocial Hall. I'm not sure where it's going to be, but it's going to be here. There's food, so come. There's going to be breakfast and bagels, and then we're going to be studying a little bit about next week's Torah portion already, which is Shemot. I know, 400 years. I know, between... Actually, this afternoon it switches, because in the Mincha service, the Torah portion switches. So in a couple of hours, it's going to be 400 years. That's going to pass. So that's tomorrow. We have that. There are a lot of classes that Rabbi Khan are coming up and teaching. So just check the website for the times for those. She's doing something called Herstory, which is kind of a feminine Torah portion look, or women in the Bible type stuff. So she's teaching that class, and then she's also doing her women's circles programs, which are really cool. So join her for those. I'm going to be teaching a class called This Land is My Land, which is about Israel, and there might be some Israeli snacks. So you might, now I don't know if you weren't coming before, but now you might want to come because there'll be Israeli snacks. That's starting on the 17th of January. That's in the evening. Also, there are spots left to go to Israel if you want to come to Israel in the summer. Cantor Mushnick's class is also coming up. February 24th, 25th, and 26th, Dan Nichols will be in town. So come hang out with Dan Nichols. That's Friday night. You have to come to that service. So if you're here, for sure come to that Friday night service. I promise you that you'll just feel his presence and his music, and he's incredible. So and then that Saturday night, there is an event that's hosted by SLJ, by the religious school. It's not a religious school event. It's just hosted by them, but it's like a campfire. So if you want to come in Saturday night, have a campfire with him and do some music and do some learning with him, it's going to be fun. It's a Saturday night of that weekend. And then Sunday is going to be the concert. That's the Dubov concert. It's going to be here with his band. And tickets are either on sale or will be on sale for that. I think they're $36 or something, for $18 or $36 for those tickets to come to hear the concert on, that's the 26th. Whew, yes. Yes. Right. So on the 13th, Friday nights, we're going to have Pastor Brown here from Ebenezer Church. He'll be here Friday night. He'll be doing the sermon and speaking to us. And then on that Sunday, we're going to be going to Ebenezer Church. We'll be there with his congregation, and our choir will be singing. We'll be singing there. And then Sisterhood Shabbat is the 20th. Yeah, the 20th. Yeah, the Friday night, the 20th. No, it's a Friday night service, just hosted and led by Sisterhood. Yeah.
So what you're saying is this coming Friday night is the
Yes. Oh my gosh, is this already this week? Oh. This Friday night is MLK. Yes, this Friday night is MLK. Wow, what happened? It's already middle of January. Yes. Dan Nichols, I don't know. We have to see. It's we pay him contractually for his time. So if I don't know exactly. That's an executive director question, because I don't know what the sort of the. He's very giving of his time. He's not that kind of artist where he's like, no, I'm not on, so I'm not coming. He usually gives of his time. I don't know if you noticed during our auction, one of the items was to bowl with Dan Nichols. And someone in our congregation actually, in this very room right now, won that. And they will be bowling with Dan Nichols. And so it's not like he's not charging us for, it's like was very open to it. So I actually asked him, I said, we have an auction coming up. Are you cool giving up something? And he was like, yeah, I love bowling. Let's go bowling. Let's go bowling with Dan Nichols. So someone right in this very room is going to go bowling with Dan Nichols. It's not me. It's not me. No, I did not bid. I did not bid on him. I'm going to get to hang out with him as much as I can. So hypothetically, I'll of course I'd love for him to come if he's available to come that morning, and if he is up for it. But yes, and then he can lead the whole thing and lead the music, and then we're just going to melt. He's just so good. All right, we're going to begin to conclude our service. Aleinu 282. And together we stand. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula leotze breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei aratzot, velo samanu kemishbechot האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו echad. We transition our thoughts to Kaddish Yatom in a moment, to Mourner's Kaddish in the period of Shloshim, the immediate 30-day mourning period. We think of Andrea Levy-Goldman and Miriam Barrick. And our yortzites that occur for us this week: Robert Borg, Ida Bergman, Jacob Butzi, Adolf Edelman, Esther Feldman, Jack Foster, Lana Franklin, Gustavo Gerstel, Beverly Cantor, Milton Cantor, Jody Katz, Ruth Kozak, Ida Lampert, Frederick Malter, Lily Mickler, Harry Nagel, Ethel Pitnoff, Blanche Postilnik, David Shaw, Molly Silverstein, Marion Small, Howard Springer, Jodney Steinberg, Frank Stock, Leon Tell, Martha Tell, Philip Weiner, Max Zuckerman. To those names, we had any name that you would like to add at this time.
My cousin Adam Austin.
294. Yitkadal v'yikadash merabah, v'almad yivrach cheruteh v'amlich malchuteh, b'chai echon v'yom echon v'chai d'chol beit Yisrael, b'agalav yizman kariv v'imru, amen. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה על שמי לקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, as together we say amen. Please be seated. Let's conclude with something. Let's conclude with Ein Keloheinu, 3:22. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Gadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mich Eloheinu, Mich Adonenu, Mich Emalkeinu, Mich Moshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Emalkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Adonai Oz Lamo Yiten, Adonai Varech et Amo v'Shalom. May God give strength unto our people. Continue to bless us with love and strength and hope and peace. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Marsha Steele, Marsha Davis, and I believe Bob Fulmer, she has a birthday with Rabbi Khan.
Did you have a birthday? Yeah, you had a birthday not that long ago, didn't you? No? Well, happy birthday. All right. Bye, Gail.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.